Big aloha. I'm Cindy Palos here, and this is the Travel Angel Radio Show. I'm with my co-host, Kathy Takushi. Oh, that's a nice, look at that sweet purse you got.
Oh, thank you.
I like that. It's very, very local. Nice design.
Seabury Hall Crafts
Wait,
Fair.
did you? Oh, it's beautiful. Well, we've got an exciting show. We're very, it's always interesting when we bring up the topic of travel. It brings up so many things that are related to travel. And you met a wonderful lady named Amelia who came into your Captivating Journeys office, right?
Yes, she lives on Molokai, and she has this company called Ramori, and she'll have to tell you how she got that name because it was interesting, I thought.
Mm-hmm.
And she does spiritual retreats in Hana. So they had one in April. She's a new company. And then she's got one, it's women only, and she has one coming up in October. But she was formerly an event planner on the mainland and got tired of the rat race, and her husband has family in Molokai, so they moved there.
Oh, okay.
And they've been there 2 years, and really, really nice girl. I liked her.
Well, wonderful. She's going to call in about 10 minutes. And we love Audrey, who's all things Portugal. And she's going to call in at 1:45 to talk about the wonderful Portuguese Heritage Festival at the Heritage House on Baldwin Avenue. They have a big festival once a year, and it's free. It's at 10 o'clock on Saturday. And it's really fun. You know, it's just a real great ethnic experience.
I haven't been there.
Well, you really should go. Yeah. I mean, of course, a lot of great food, you know, bean soup, etc. But a lot of fun and a lot of great cultural experiences. And it happens once a year, and it's a big deal. And it's right there, and she'll call in at 1:45, and we'll talk to her about that. Now, interesting news. I was listening. You know, I love Peter Greenberg. We've had him on the air once or twice, but we listened to his show because we air his show on Sunday. And he brought up a really interesting point. He's so funny. He travels all the time. And he said he's learned through being a reporter all these years that he can read upside down. And he was waiting at a Delta counter, and no one was there. So he was able to read a special card that was inserted about all the airlines and how much carry-on baggage fits. He took a picture of it. And he had all the information of how much carry-on really can fit on each airplane. And I don't have all the information with me, but it was shocking. It's like they only have room on these planes for about 50% of the passengers that they have. So, you know, you always hear,
right?
Well, you can check your baggage and, you know, you have to fit at other places. And we always see some people that say, well, there's no more overhead bin space.
Right.
Well, now we know why. Because these planes don't give near enough room for overhead bins and carry-on as they should. Now, again, this is probably something that is going to make people, again, want to be first in line. I have to admit I'm one of those people that stand in line probably too early to get in line. But you know what? If you're at the end of the line, there's a real good chance you're not going to, even if you have a legal size, you know, overhead space baggage, you're not going to have any room for it because it gets filled, you know.
And some people bring way too much stuff.
Some people want to, and that goes with the understanding. I understand you don't want to miss a flight, or you have close connections. You think you could lose baggage, so you just try to do carry-on. And I applaud people who think and can do that kind of thing. But yes, I mean, the thing that's interesting is these people who bring these huge bags that are kind of pliable. They're kind of, I forget the name of the long, thin ones that you can fit, but they do. Those can take up a lot of space. And I've even seen backpacks that are like, whoa, that's as big as a regular suitcase size, you know?
Right.
So anyway, it does happen. And that's why we see sometimes also, why we see people bringing, and this has been the new thing, of course, that people bring oversized bags, and then they're told, you know, you can check that.
And now they're starting to charge them.
They're charging them, not only they're charging them a fee.
Yeah, because people know about that. So
they know
now
about
they're
it.
Trying to get
and you
get around it.
2 fees now, maybe. Yeah. The fee you would have
Fee
for a
and a
check bag
fine.
and a fine. So it's interesting. And the next one, I don't even know if I want to talk about, because we always talk about how safe flights are. And I mean, my audiobook is coming out within days. I finally have How to Fly with Less Stress coming out. It took a whole year, and I'm finally going to have it distributed. I guess there's more reason to buy that book now, or the audiobook. because they came out yesterday on the news. I was shocked they came out with this. I always knew it was possible, but they said they have now gotten warnings, serious warnings, that it is very possible for planes to be hacked, that they can get in through sometimes Wi-Fi systems and other ways.
Oh,
that some of these planes,
that.
some place more than other, and that they put out a huge warning that there are experienced hackers out there that could possibly actually get into the whole system of the plane.
I'm
And
sure
that's
is,
scary.
Yeah.
That to me is more than anything else, because I'm not afraid of flying.
Yeah.
I fly a lot, and the chances really are so slim that you can have a bad accident. But if you get, this is a reason why we have to have really secure situations, and all airlines have to really take this threat seriously.
Mm-hmm.
That's their responsibility.
Right.
To make sure there's no one that can hack your plane. You don't want to have your plane hacked. And he's like, oh my gosh. So we're excited about what you're doing. You've got that great deal still with Hawaiian Airlines.
Oh, but before we go on,
okay,
I just want to. We're all sad about Anthony Bourdain.
I was devastated.
I know
that one.
We loved Anthony Bourdain.
That one really, really, really shook me up.
A lot of people.
Yeah, a lot of
people. Yeah.
A lot of people, because, I read like 3 or 4 of his books. I met him once.
Did you?
And
I got to see him a few years ago at a conference.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
He was just a charming person. We could relate to him. He had a lifestyle that many, many would love to have, Of course, he had depression. There's been a lot of debate about what really happened.
Mm-hmm.
I even went so far as to go to the different Instagram accounts, his and others, and some people said it was his girlfriend who actually was with another guy 2 days before, and she posted pictures with another guy holding hands and saying, who knows, I even speculated, was something wrong with him? Was he sick? What happened? It's just hard to digest that one. It
Right.
really was a shocker for me.
Yeah. For a lot of people.
Yeah, did he get back into drugs? What caused it? They haven't released a toxicology report, but the guy, we all know he drank a lot, and he didn't hide that at all.
Mm-hmm.
All I could say, it finally came to me. He loved the phrase "parts unknown," and that he's gone to parts unknown now.
Mm-hmm.
And part of him just was like not able to handle. Who knows why? Depression. Who knows? There could be reasons we never will know.
Mm-hmm.
And he's gone to parts unknown. And I think we all had to come to some kind of peace about that within our own selves when we see that
Right.
happen. And it's so disturbing, right? But I guess that also came up with just because someone looks like they have an ideal, dreamlike lifestyle doesn't necessarily mean they're happy.
Mm-hmm. It's an illusion.
Yeah.
But he did give great travel advice.
He did.
He did. I when I was at the conference, I took notes down, and I still had it. And my takeaway from that one is, when you travel, to always be polite, eat what's offered to you, and
in one case, he ate a live octopus.
always let I think it was the unknown adventures come. And I think my last few trips have been like that. When I look back and I read that, I'm like, that's exactly. Well, I didn't eat the tarantula, so.
Yes.
But that was at a restaurant, so we had to buy that. It wasn't offered to me, but.
Good.
So-
I would not eat a tarantula, and I
Yeah.
wouldn't eat a live octopus, and I'm a vegetarian, so I didn't believe in what he said about vegetarians or meat, but that doesn't matter. I still could
Right.
relate
Oh,
to
yeah.
him.
Yeah. It was pretty funny about that one.
He was like a rock and roll chef, Of course, he did a show at Chef Gordon's, and Willie Kay got to sing and be there. He did, part of his show was down here at Tasty Crust.
Right.
He
yeah.
went to Tasty Crust, and so it's like,
And he went to Molokai.
yes, he
He
did.
He did
That's
that
right.
whole thing there. Yeah.
So it's a big sigh,
Yeah.
That was a shocker.
Yeah.
There is a trip you're gonna tell people about quickly till we get a call from
Yeah, we're
your friend?
partnering with Hawaiian Airlines and Panda Travel with a shopping trip to Korea.
Yay! And if you're interested in that trip, contact Kathy Takushi at 244-1414. That's Captivating Journeys number. Captivating Journeys 244-1414. It's $1,500.
$15.99.
for that trip with the air and the hotels. And I think we have our special guest on the line. Is this Amelia?
Hello, how are you?
Oh, so good to meet you.
Hi, Amelia.
Hi, Kathy. Cindy, it's great to meet you, too. Thanks for having me on today.
Well, I just love a little bit of your story that Kathy was explaining to me. Because, number one, you were an event planner, and we all know how much stress and work that is. Maybe we don't, but I recognize that. And it's an interesting story how you landed up in Molokai and then created this wonderful business that is a dream business, it seems like. Can you explain to our listeners what a little bit of your background of how you landed up from being on the mainland to creating a business and living on Molokai?
I'd be happy to, because, of course, it's been an experience and a story that's been incredibly transformational for me. We have long-distance family on the island of Molokai, and so that connection is, of course, what brought me to Hawaii and allowed me very special opportunities to learn very powerful and impactful insights from our friends and family within the Hawaiian culture here on Molokai, and allowed me to develop a tremendous amount of respect and appreciation for the new perspectives that I was being taught. In particular, a perspective that is very much connected with the natural world, and an understanding that there is a very special sinew between us as humans and the world around us. And that opportunity to have that aha as somebody that lived in a city and went into the office every day before sunrise and didn't leave the office until every day after sunrise was a really important game changer for me in my own perspective around how I wanted to live my life.
What brought that on?
You know, a combination of experiences. I would say the most predominant shift in thinking for me was a realization that as I was climbing higher and higher up the corporate ladder, I was climbing farther and farther away from the experiences that were really most meaningful. And as I started to get more time here in Hawaii and deepen and enrichen my relationships with our families and friends here, that disconnect became more and more apparent to me. And as I talked with other women who were very career-centered and, you know, like we all do, trying to balance all of the things that we're doing in our life and still stay true to ourselves, I realized that I wasn't the only one that was feeling that way.
Absolutely true. Well, for people listening in, we're talking to Amelia Ellenstein, and I have a question just with this because you're the founder, and I love this term. I have never heard it before, and I think you're onto something here. You're the Chief Experience Officer. Where in the world did you, I love that title. Where did you come up with that, Amelia?
Well, really what my mission is to create transformative experiences that can ignite a community of women to strive towards their limitless potential. And in order to make that kind of transformation available to people, it's all about the experience, right? It's not about what you do, it's about how you do it. And the way you go about something is what really teaches you and gives you an opportunity to gain new perspectives. So it seemed to make sense that with a company that's all about experiences and transformational experiences, that really my role is completely dedicated to those experiences directly.
It's a wonderful title. Can you patent it? I think you should. It's just,
thank you.
It's great. So, okay, so you went from this very intense, high energy position. You decided to come back to Molokai. What was that like going from 100 miles an hour down to 10?
It was amazing. It was exactly what I needed. And I was very grateful for the opportunity to make that sort of downshift and that power change in the way that I was using my energy. Because really what I did is I was lucky enough to be able to take some time to shift the energy that I was using outward in a professional capacity and use that energy in an inward way in order to really evaluate the way that it was I wanted to live. And so I wouldn't say that it was less energy. It's still high energy. It's just a more mindful type of energy and a more focused type of energy that allows me to live in a way that feels much more connected to true meaning.
Where do you live on Molokai?
We live just outside of Kaunakakai, and we're so grateful to be able to have the partnership that we have with Ala Kukui in Hana. All of the events that we host are in Hana on Maui.
Oh, I know that site. That's actually, I knew Arnie Kotler, who he and his wife ran that place for years. It's beautiful. I stayed out there. It's fabulous.
It's a beautiful, beautiful location,
Yes.
and the organization is doing amazing and beautiful work. And, you know, we have two missions in the work that we're doing with Ramori. One is that we are completely centered around creating uplifting and empowering experiences for women. And the other is that we partner with nonprofits and community centers in order to create those authentic and transformational experiences. And our partner in Hana is Ala Kukui, and they're a 501c3 nonprofit who is dedicated to the intellectual and spiritual advancement of Native Hawaiians. And so what that means is that we're able to work together collaboratively to create an experience that is not only authentically transformational for women, but also is one that supports the sustainability strategy of Ala Kukui so that they can continue to do the work that they're doing in Hana to preserve, protect, and celebrate the culture.
Well, first of all, the place is exquisite, beautifully, beautifully done, beautiful hardwood floors, lovely views. You can see the sun coming out of the ocean in the morning, very peaceful, lovely grounds. And I know that there have actually been a lot of silent retreats and meditation retreats out there as well.
It's true. They have amazing space. One of the really special aspects about the experience on the grounds of Ala Kukui is that they have 15 acres of tropical gardens that surround all of the buildings, the lodge, and the retreat space. And so when you're there ensconced in this very, very natural, beautiful environment, it's very easy to let everything else in your life go.
And there's actually, at the bottom of the hill, there's a couple of really nice farm-to-table kind of little stand restaurants and things. And it's only really 5 minutes from town if you want to go into Hana Bay or to other places. You're not that far outside the center of Hana.
No, not at all. And that allows the experiences that we're creating to be very connected into the community. So, for example, our next event is in October. It's October 14th through 20th, and it's an all-inclusive retreat for women that's deeply rooted in the Hawaiian culture. And because of Ala Kukui's remote and picturesque location, but also the convenience in its association into Hana, we're able to connect into the community activities that are occurring. And so, for example, one of the activities that we participate in is in collaboration with Hana Builds, and we participate in their weekly poi pounding gathering with the community. And so the women go, and we actually learn the sacred history of kalo and its importance within the Hawaiian culture. And then every woman helps actually prepare the kalo and then gets her own poi pounder and sits down and gets her hands dirty and learns the traditional method of pounding poi. And then later that evening, dinner, of course, is centered around poi as the featured and celebrated ingredient on the table.
And I'm very happy to see that you're doing yoga, which I love. I do every morning. I start with meditation and yoga, and you're going to do meditation and yoga. And I would love to be out there, if you want any talks about that. I mean, I've been meditating every day of my life since I've been 14 years old. So, I mean, I totally think that is going to set a tone for the day, which is going to be magical.
We certainly do. We provide all of the supplies for self-guided yoga and certainly for all of the women to continue their daily practice. But what makes the experience really special is that we're completely connected to the experiences of the Hawaiian culture. And so unlike other spiritual retreats or wellness-based retreats that happen throughout the islands, we are actually not 100% centered on yoga and meditation. We are actually completely centered and rooted in the Hawaiian culture and feel really passionately that there's a tremendous opportunity for aha moments by learning the wisdom of the Hawaiian culture that there's such rich opportunities for learning that we don't need to expand that curriculum to include other wisdom perspectives from around the world.
Although, I have a friend, I've got to be in touch with her again. You remember when we had Amelia Earhart's daughter, Erica? She lives out there at just past the pools, and she does yoga retreats. She's a yoga teacher, and she's an amazing woman, and she specializes in yoga, and she's got, of course, obviously quite a history because her grandfather loved Hana and lived there, and so she's kind of carrying on the tradition, but she loves yoga, and that's her specialty, and she's a wonderful lady, and she's been out there, obviously, I think most of her life, although she travels somewhat as well. Where did you come up with the name? And tell me what the name Roa Mora means.
Yep, so the name of the company is Romori, and it's spelled Roamori, and it's a combination of two different ideas. The first part of the word, the root of the word, so to say, is roam, Roam. And, of course, we're a business that's dedicated to creating experiences in new cultures. So we're all about roaming the world and wandering and thinking deeply about travel. And then the second part of the word, amori, Amori, is a variation of the Italian word to love. And so my personal heritage is Italian. I'm named after my great-grandmother who immigrated to the United States when she was 14. And so it's a nice combination of the purpose of the company to roam and the idea of love coming from my heritage in the Italian culture.
That's another great word. And I got it wrong. It's Lindbergh's granddaughter, not Amelia Earhart. It's Lindbergh's granddaughter.
Well, another important figure in
another
the world
flyer,
of
right? I want to give Kathy a little time to talk because Kathy was able to meet you. And Kathy was just thrilled with this idea for a good reason, and I can see why. Tell us a little bit what interested you in this, Kathy.
Well, I think we connected when we met in person. So I thought that Amelia's story was interesting, and I think our connection was having experiences rather just than taking trips. Don't you think?
I do, Kathy, and that's absolutely what drew me to the work that you're doing. It's that unique focus that you have around creating an experience that could last and be engaging well after a vacation was over. Because you didn't just visit a place, but you allowed an opportunity to be touched by a place. Mm-hmm. And that's really what the work is that you do with your clients, to create those opportunities for them to be touched by an experience. And that was a big connection for both of us.
And it's so true. I think every trip gives you an opportunity to actually change your perspective, learn things, make friends, and hopefully every trip you come back a little with your horizons expanded, with new experiences that open your mind to new things and make new friends. And I think that's really what's so exciting. That's why I love to travel as well, and obviously you love that as well.
Mm-hmm. You know, It's interesting because we each have our own filters, and they influence the way that we perceive our lives in the world. And when we immerse ourselves in a new culture, we have this opportunity to get a new perspective. And it's a special opportunity to reflect on our own life in a mindful way. And I think that new perspective can be incredibly transformative and have a long-lasting power to help us grow, improve, and look at our lives in an enhanced way. Mm-hmm. And, you know, that's really the work that we're trying to do at Romori. I mean, we believe that there are sacred spaces that are within and all around us all the time. Mm-hmm. And that meaningful connection with a new culture or a new friend or a new landscape, for example, gives us that perspective to explore those forgotten sacred spaces that are hard to tap into when we're in the middle of our really busy, hectic lives.
You know, what's interesting is I can't help but wonder if people have a chance to come out and experience Hana and the real Hawaii and the real Maui. And the sacred aspect. I bet some of them say, "I want to move here." Have you had people already start to think that they fall in love with the island when they come?
You know, the experience I've had is that people fall in love with the wisdom that they're able to tap into when they're here. And I think back about the last group of women that we hosted in Hana in April, and one of the universal themes that they all shared when they called me and followed up with me after the trip is that they felt like they were able to bring home a part of Hana because they felt richer from the new perspective and the wisdom that they were able to discover while they were here. And so I would say what I hear is less about people wanting to move here once they experience it and more that they start to view themselves as stewards of the philosophies and that they begin to see that there's an opportunity for them as individuals to represent the ideas that they've learned and become protectors, right, and sharers so that others can also benefit from the knowledge that they gain.
So it starts October 14th through the 20th, and I imagine people can go to your website, roamori.com, for all of the details, right?
That's right. We have a complete listing that provides a really beautiful overview of what the event is about. And visitors can also request a digital brochure that we're happy to send with the complete itinerary. You know, but I can give you some highlights because it's a really special experience. One of the really unique aspects is that the executive director of Ala Kukui, Kau'i Kanaka'ole, and her entire team of practitioners and guides are so generous in the way that they teach and share knowledge. And so when the women are together in this environment, they're able to sit and work hands-on, side by side, with experts within traditional practices, and not just learn in a hands-on way the celebrated traditional practice of lahala weaving, for example, or making lepo'o, but also learn about the philosophies and the spiritual purpose behind each of those activities. So, for example, one of the activities, a series of activities that is always incredibly meaningful to the guests is that we go on a hike along the King's Trail, which takes us to one of the largest hala groves in Hawaii, and our guide, Kawila, shares responsible gathering practices and introduces the women to the hala leaf, and they're taught how to gather. And they all gather a selection of leaves, which we bring back to the lodge at Ala Kukui. And the women work side by side with Kau'i, Poha, and Kawila, our guides and teachers, and they roll up their sleeves and they get their hands dirty and they learn how to strip, clean, and prepare the lahaula for weaving. And
that's probably down at the Black Sand Beach. You start there and walk along the King's Trail from there, heading out.
We sure do, and we head towards Hana Bay. Along the trail.
It's a lovely trail.
It's a beautiful, beautiful hike with views of the ocean and, you know, the amazing rugged lava coastline that really, you know, wraps around all of Hana.
I love that one little small island where all the birds gather. There's one place, and then there's a blowhole on that trail that's just really interesting.
There is. All that power coming from the ocean is really amazing to watch.
Yeah, I love walking on the trail. It feels very ancient, and it is. Yeah.
And it is. And it is.
Yeah.
And ultimately, after having that experience of gathering the leaves and preparing the leaves, the women weave their own bangle bracelet. And so through this experience of the entire practice from start to finish, they begin to get exposure to the idea of our interconnectedness with nature, how we have the ability, by being mindful and respectful, to transform something as humble as a leaf into a work of art, like a bangle bracelet, which is a really beautiful metaphor for the way all of us can live our lives.
You know, I can tell that your background doing events has really served you well. First of all, your website is very well done, and you've thought this out so beautifully and organized it so well. How many women can attend this event?
We limit the experience to 14 women at a time. We're really interested in the experience being personal, and we want it to be a number that really is inclusive and encourages friendship. And so we stop at 14.
That's wonderful. You are on Instagram. Of course, I love seeing travel. I know Kathy Takushi at Captivating Journeys posts some lovely pictures, and and you're on Instagram at Amelia Everywhere. That's Amelia Everywhere. And Romori Travel, that's ROAMORI.travel. And do you have anything on Facebook as well, or is it
We
mainly-
do. We are also on Facebook and our Facebook address for Romori is the same. It's at romori.travel for Facebook as well.
So this is interesting too, because you only do you just do 2 a year, or do you do 3 a year of these events?
In 2018, we're hosting 2 a year. In 2019, we're setting the dates now, and we are aiming to host 3 events in 2019.
So you're trying not to overdo it, obviously.
Absolutely. And, that comes out of respect for the small group because we want to encourage an inclusive and friendship-oriented atmosphere. But it also, most importantly, comes out of respect for Ala Kukui and the work that they're doing within the Hana community. So much of what we do is completely required that there's a positive, respectful, and healthy relationship with the community. And we feel it's really important that Ala Kukui gets to decide what a comfortable amount of frequency is and is able to really be the champions of what that experience is and what the right experiences are to share. And so smaller is better from our perspective.
That's a good point. So do you meet the people at the airport, or is it up to them to get out there to Hana?
We have airport pickup, so we actually pick everybody up at Kahului, and we do the road to Hana together for those that are interested in doing it. And then, of course, for those that are a little intimidated, it's 620 curves to get to Hana, right? So some people have some issues with motion sickness, and so those guests can fly directly into Hana on Mokulele, and we pick them up at the airport in Hana.
Well, this kind of experience is once-in-a-lifetime experience for people. And I love that you picked up on the word enlightened experiences rooted in local culture, because you obviously understand the power of enlightenment coming from being able to be aware and mindful, and also to be in places that are very, very spiritual, and to be life-changing. And I even like the fact that you say, for solo travelers, wonderful, girls' trips, and mother-daughter adventures. So that's an interesting thing that you brought that in as well.
We have a wonderful pair of women that are joining us in October that are a mother-daughter duo. And when I asked them what appealed to them, why did they choose this experience for a mother-daughter event, and they said that they were interested in having an experience together that would truly deepen their relationship. And the idea of, just going to the beach every day, or, going and having some very sort of more tourist-oriented experiences, they didn't feel would really do justice to the mother-daughter bond that they share. And I thought that was such a beautiful way for the mom and daughter to think about how they wanted to continue to foster their relationship as friends, as well as mother and daughter.
And I just want to add that, it's so sad that some of us get so busy. Not you, Kathy. You'd never get too busy with work. But some of us get so busy with work that we don't get a chance to actually unwind and experience the kind of thing you can experience on a special event and retreat like this. So, I'm sure you're bringing people from all around the world, but it's just wonderful for local people.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. It's not only for tourists, it's also for local people.
Yeah. Because even though we're living in Hawaii, we can end up getting up to the 100-mile-an-hour speed sometimes, too.
That's true. We all are.
Yep.
I heard something really interesting recently that really connected with me, and I think it speaks to what the challenge that you're describing, Cindy, which is this idea that we all get going 100 miles an hour, and it doesn't really matter where you live. That's just the way life is in the modern world. And a friend of mine said that he has stopped trying to achieve balance. And in fact, that he thinks the idea of balance is completely unattainable. How could we ever balance our life? Something is always demanding more of our attention than another, whether it's work, whether it's family, whether it's a challenge that we're trying to solve. And what he said is he thinks the next area that we should be striving towards is harmony. And harmony is the idea that everything that we do is in synchronicity with what is most important to us as individual beings. And so if we work 60 hours a week, but that 60 hours is truly our passion, then that's in harmony with our experience. Well, and I thought that was really interesting and beautiful insight. What do you think about that?
I think so. Well, every year they say pick a word. So this year my word was balance. Maybe I should throw that out the door.
Well,
and choose harmony instead.
Well, you know what? If you're mindful and you're really enlightened in every moment and you're aware of every moment, you can be in balance with that moment because you're present where you are. It's a lot easier to say than to do because, we're all trying to do the best we can, and that can take a lot of energy and time and effort, but, if you breathe and if you're centered and you are always a very kind, nice person, I don't think you ever get overstressed. You don't ever get overstressed?
I do. I internalize it. That's the bad. I hold it in.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I have to say I love what you're doing. I'm a little envious in a way, too, I have to admit, because I'm going, oh, this is so wonderful. Why aren't we doing this? You are doing it, and I just think it's wonderful that you embraced your vision and decided to change your life, and now you're doing what you really wanted to do and dream of doing. Meanwhile, living in Molokai. It's just like, wow. So I'm really, really super happy that you're doing this, Amelia, and you probably have to write a book next about this because you seem to have most of the bases covered in this. And so what's the best way for people to sign up for this?
The best way would be to visit our website, www.roamori.com, and they can, there's several ways to contact me directly through the website, and they can also completely make a reservation entirely on our website as well.
So just think Roam Ori, even though it's not, it's a play on words, which you're very good at, but think Roam Mori, MORAMORI.com. And it's a beautiful website. I have to give it to you. It's very, very well done. You did a good job on that.
And we're partnering with Amelia, so we will also have it on our website. So
can they call you?
Mm-hmm. And then I'll probably have it up there by the end of the week or so.
Oh, wonderful. So 244-1414 is the number of Captivating Journeys, and captivatingjourneys.com. Wonderful. Well, I want to thank you. It's so nice meeting you by phone, and next time